Shri Shri Radha Vinu Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Sorry, we're a minute late. We had some technical difficulty. We just endured a massive storm. It was one of the craziest windy storms I've seen so far. Okay, Jai.
I'm not seeing it on my phone at all. Let me see.
It says it's going. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Hari Bol. I saw people already commenting.
Alright, well, I can't.
Take your phone off of Wi-Fi. Okay. Where's my phone?
Do you see it, Sudevi? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Radhe Radhe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam Vaishnavas.
Dandavat Pranam.
So we're going to start with Mangalacharan. Vandeham Shri Guru. B-A-N-D-E. It's usually on page 1 in this songbook, and you can also find it on the Gaudiya Kirtan app.
Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Leela Katane Sudaksham Audaryamaduryam Gunaishchayuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirasha Namami Tridanginam Bhaktashino Manincha Shri Krishna Bhagavatamrita Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasar Narayanam Tam Sadatam Prapatye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nittinamine श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिधिनाथार्यदेशतारिणे नमः विष्णुपादाय गौरकृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमद्भक्तिप्रज्ञान केशवैत्तिनामिने धीमत्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानञ्चपालिने जीवानुखे नरताय श्रीरामप्रेमदायिने नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीति नामिने श्रीवर्षभारती देवी गणिताय कृपाभये कृष्णाय सम्बन्धविज्ञान दैवे प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमाभ्या श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये विनतारिणे रूपानुगम्भिरुद्धातो सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे परं पूजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगपरायते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये श्रद्धां सुरतोपङ्गो मम वन्दामतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वत्वलम्बोज राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यं वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदा श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीरघुविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानं स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रासरसारम्भी वंशिवधरतपस्थितः कर्षं वेणुस्वरगोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पंचतत्त्वमसीश्वरी तत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद क्षेत्रदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावग्निर्वापनं श्रेयैरवचन्द्रिकादिकरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मसफलं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनं हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं खलु नस्त्येव गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
गुरुदेव कृपा करके Gurudev कृपा करके page 360 in the small book begins with Gurudev कृपा करके K-R-P-A-K-A-R-K-E.
She's learning Hindi. Kaki ke. Is it still going?
Yeah.
Okay. 360.
गुरुदेव कृपा करके
be on page 46. Sakala, Sakala Vaisnava Gosai.
So at the end of Gurudev Kripa Karke, which is a bhajan that has the special power to call our Gurudev, we've already told this before. We're saying, Gurudev Tumhari Jai Jai Ho. It means, Gurudev, your victory or your glories will be victorious. It's like saying, Ebe Jash Bhushuk Tribhuvana, that your glories or your fame will be spread throughout the three worlds. Gurudev Tumhari Jai Jai Ho. Jai Jai Ho Tumhari Jai Jai Ho.
Okay,
so now, Sakala Vaishnava Gosai. What page is it?
Page 46.
46.
And if you don't have the songbook, very soon I believe Jiva Pavana Prabhu will kindly add it to the thread. He added Gurudev Kripa Karike. So if you're new and to this gathering, whenever we sing one of the bhajans from the book, generally Jiva Pavana Prabhu adds it to the thread. So just search the thread and you can find the kirtan.
You're reading, right?
Yes. There it is. Thank you, Jai Jiva Pavana
Haribo.
Sakala that when we're singing Prabhu, hey, we're not saying, hey, what's up, Prabhu?
In Sanskrit, in Hindi, when you're calling out, if you're calling out to Srimati Radhika in the Mahamantra, as Srila Prabhupada said, she is Mother Hara. Why Mother? Because she's Karunam Kurumayi. She is the mother of mercy, the mother of compassion, and the mother of devotion. So, he says when you're calling out, in the vocative case, to Hara, but because you're calling out, then it becomes Hare. In the same way, we know that her name is Radha. But when her friends are calling her, when her Sakhis are calling her, they say Radhe. And in Vrindavan you hear everyone, Radhe Radhe, Vrindavan mein Radhe Radhe. When they're calling each other, Lalita Vishaka, they say Lalite Vishakhe, like this. And also this, Oh hey Vaishnava Thakur, Oh hey Vaishnava Thakur. So it's not, oh hey, what's up? It's a calling out in a mood, like we say, Ha ha Prabhu Korodoya. Ha ha means I'm calling out from my heart in desperation. Ha ha Prabhu Korodoya. There's a calling out mood that manifests. So when we're saying Prabhu hey, we're not saying hey Prabhu. Like when you see someone, a devotee walking down the street, it's really beckoning them, it's petitioning them for their mercy. What mood is in their heart, what they have witnessed, what they have realized. Please be merciful and awaken that, even one drop of that particle of that mood in my heart.
Also, as you're saying, it's a calling out. And so I just wanted to express really quickly that once I was singing in front of our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja, and it was a very calling out kirtan. And he said, oh, do you know alap? Do you know alap? And I said, no, Gurudev. And he said, alap is whenever there is a very emotional moment, something to call out in the bhajan or in the kirtan, you should sing, ooh, ooh, ah, ah. So this is in a sense like that. We call it kind of like the end of the kirtan, but really it's in a sense really what an alap is. Now it's like a very fancy kind of classical thing that people do. It's called alap. But when we're doing bhajans, it's at a point where there's an emotion in the heart and you just call out from the core of your heart, and you call out the name of that personality, or Prabhu Hey, or Radhe, Krishna, like that.
I remember once we were in Australia with our Gurudev in Mohan, and there, I believe Sudevi had just led Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan.
With Esraj.
And Esraj Prabhu, Rajraj, was playing his Esraj very beautifully. And somehow, Srila Gurudev was experiencing some mood in his heart, and he was weeping. And then he said, when we are calling out and when we are chanting, we should do it with a melted heart full of devotion, heart full of praying, calling out. And then he started with Nitai He. First he was saying Nitai He. He said Nitai He. Go Nitai He. Nitai He. Nitai He.
And then he went all the way.
Then he went to Gaurahe. So he was doing each one slowly like this. Then Radhe He. He went to Srimati Radhika, then Krishna. And he was weeping as he was doing it. And we were all just there with him as he was showing and also teaching us how to enter into the mood of kirtan, calling out from the core of our heart. And then from there he brought us into Radhe He, in the drums, boom, 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 like that. And he brought it to a crescendo. One thing he also told us is that we should never end the kirtan on a sad note or on the low note, that we may leave any Vaishnava, real Vaishnava, who's experiencing some deep transcendental emotion in a state of utter desperation. Like, who's it, Rupa Goswami? No, Raghunath Das Goswami. He was reading from Srila Rupa Goswami Which book was that?
Lalit. The Hamsadut.
Was it Hansa
I
Dutta?
believe it was Hamsadut.
Anyhow, it was such a, maybe if any of you know, you can please post it. And it created such a desperate mood within his heart, he could not stop crying. Rupa Goswami was thinking, what should I do, what should I do? And so he entered into divine trance, this is Samadhi trance, and he witnessed beautiful pastimes of Krishna. And then he composed a beautiful scripture known as Dan Keli Komudi, which is a very, very funny comedy. And from that, it broke Raghunath Das Goswami from that deep state of desperation. Lalit Madhav.
Lalit and Madhav,
Mm.
yes.
It broke him from that deep state of desperation. So Gurudeva would always say at the end of any kirtan or program, Madhurena Samarpayet, means all is well that ends sweetly. And so even if there's any kirtan, at the end we don't just end it on the like Hare and then everyone's like, but from there we should go Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Like that. Gurudev wanted us to end on a high note, a sweet note, and something that lifts us from that state of intense feeling of separation. So these are some instructions that Srila Gurudev gave for Kirtan. And some of them he personally taught us, like Sudevi, how to do Allah. Ah. Now we're going to call out for the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai! Nitai Padakamala, Oti Chandra Shushitala.
Page 58.
Sudevi was already there.
Starts with Nitai, Nitai, Pada, Pada.
Nitai Padakamala, page 58. Also, before we chant the prayers to Nityananda Prabhu or Mahaprabhu, we always first chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Gaura Bhakta গৌরাঙ্গ বলিতে হবে।
Page 86.
86
And then Srika Gurudev.
Okay. গৌরাঙ্গ বলিতে হবে।
Gurudeva
Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Prabhupada Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shashank Prabhu, we don't have access to a printer, and the apps don't stay open, as far as I understand. While we're leading kirtan, it's very difficult for us to keep playing the instruments, so we can't do Vrindavanam this time today. Not today, not yet, but it will come one day.
So instead we're going to do
Soy Keva Shonailo Shyamanam.
page 183, starts S-O-I, Soy, Keba, K-E-B-A. Sweet honey.
Very low and very high. I mean, it's all high, but the key was very low and very high.
So we will all try very hard.
It's me.
Yeah, because she sounds loud up
Shoi Keva Shanailo Shyamanam page. Sorry.
183.
183. Gento Otenta page. Someone said it, bro? Oh, it was you? Yeah, sorry. Keva Shunailo Shyamana Keva Shunailo Shyamana Keva Shunailo Shyamana Keva Shunailo Keva Okay, so a very good friend of ours, Mamata, who's in Belgium. She's a nurse now, and she's telling us that at this moment, there's a 25-year-old boy fighting for his life, and the Maha Mantra is vibrating loudly through the loudspeaker. So she's very happy that from Vrindavan this kirtan is going to that place.
And from all over the world.
And from all over the world. Maha Mantra is resounding everywhere all at the same time. So we can also send some prayers. We don't know him, but he's hearing Maha Mantra. We can send some prayers that may he float on the waves of Maha Mantra to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna.
His great fortune is that he's come into the care of the Vaishnava.
And how about that? Because there's a Vaishnava taking care of him, he's able to hear Maha Mantra at such a time as this.
So we plug it back in.
Let's go. Okay. Hare Krishna. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Parishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Nangayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. In the same, thousands of Dandavat Pranam to the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, and those who are participating with us on Facebook Live, my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Dandavat.
So before I begin reading from Going Beyond Vaikuntha, there's a couple of things that I need to share. The first one, you know how in the last few days, almost every day, someone within our immediate circle, or very close to our immediate circle, has passed away from this world. Someone that I know, or the brother or sister of someone I know. Today, we received the news that one disciple of Srila Prabhupada, who was a very prominent preacher for Srila Prabhupada, especially through the medium of Harinam Sankirtan, who was responsible as a limb of Srila Prabhupada for bringing hundreds of maybe thousands of people to the path of bhakti through his dedicated service. Krishna says, whatever anyone does favorable on the path of bhakti, that is never lost. So this devotee, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, who was at one time very, very prominent personality within Srila Prabhupada's society, his name is Hansaduta Prabhu. He has departed from this world. And so I would like to just offer a prayer for him, and also request all of you to offer a prayer for him, that may Srila Prabhupada keep him always tucked closely to his lotus feet, and may he bring him to his ultimate destination and perfection. once again, it's in our face. Regardless of how someone is departing, regardless of whether it's related to the COVID virus or any other problem of this world. The real virus is that we are trapped in this material world of birth, disease, old age, and death. Suffering, the adhyatmic, adhibautic, and adhidaivic miseries, revolving in this cycle since time without beginning, forgetting about Krishna, or even being ignorant of Krishna, not choosing to utilize our life in the service of the Lord, and instead struggling to enjoy and to increase our enjoyment in this material world. The natural result, the cosmic balancing act, is to the extent that we enjoy in this world, to that extent we will have to suffer. So that brings me to the first subject of today, which is that today, here in India, and many of you have already experienced it, is Akshaya Tritiya. Akshaya Tritiya is a very important, auspicious day, astrologically, but also historically. Akshaya Tritiya is said to be the day that this universe was created. So it is the day of new beginnings. It is the day of Chandan Yatra, the first day of Chandan Yatra. The day when the Lord is covered in sandalwood paste. So he also takes a different form, a different covering, if you want to call it that, which is very cooling. This Chandan paste is very cooling. It is the day that the gates, the doors of Badri Narayan in the Himalayas are opened. So many transcendental things also happen on this day. This was the day that our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, along with so many of his godbrothers, including our Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, established the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, which is an offshoot of the original Gaudiya Math, just like ISKCON was an offshoot of the original Gaudiya Math. So sometimes people think, oh, all Gaudiya Math, but so many different offshoots of Gaudiya Math manifested in order to maintain the teachings and the convictions of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So our Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, along with his own sannyas guru Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, established and inaugurated Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. And then afterward, I think it was afterward, he established the League of Devotees, and then after that he established in America and the rest of the world the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So this is a day, our Gurudev said, of new beginnings. Of new beginnings. It is also an interesting day. It is the manifestation or the appearance of Sri Parshuram, who is said to be Shakti Avesh avatar of the Lord. Because he is Shakti Avesh. For some reason, on all other Vishnu Tattva days, we fast, but we've never been instructed to fast on this day. Perhaps, and I'm only saying perhaps because he is known as Shakti Avesh. Means he's imbued with Shakti, the Shakti of the Lord. And our Gurudev has explained that every single day of the year is the day of any Shakti of the Lord. If we were to fast on every single Shakti day, we would not be able to survive. So we fast on the days of Krishna, the days of Mahaprabhu, right? The days of Sri Ram and Narasingha. But the Shakti days, or in this case Shakti Avesh, we are not fasting because this is my understanding. So it is the day of Parshuram. And what is Parshuram? Parshuram is said to be this avatar of the Lord, Shakti Avesh avatar, whose function it is. He is the embodiment of the anger of the Lord. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that when there's a predominant rise in irreligion, and when the demonic tendency is translated simply as that tendency which is selfish, self-centered, and away from the tendency to serve Krishna, and discouraging others from serving Krishna as well. which is the nature or the state of the material world as we see it today. That people have gone mostly away from real, sincere religious or spiritual pursuits and are engaged in so many mundane material activities, even in the name of religion. So Krishna says, from time to time, I descend myself when there is a predominant rise in irreligion to re-establish dharma, to protect the devotees, and to annihilate the demons. So many persons are on a warpath at this time, mentally, emotionally, that we need to go and destroy the demons. But we have to understand what form of the Lord has manifested at this time and what process He has given to destroy the demons. The demon is within every one of us. And which one we feed is the one that will be more prominent. If we feed the demon or we feed the devotee. Sorry, the devotee is also within us. I missed that part. The devotee is there, the demon is there. Which one we feed is the one that will manifest more. What is the process of destroying that demonic tendency, the demon nature within all of us? Only Harinam Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is the process in this Kali Yuga for attaining perfection. It is the process for pleasing the Lord. It is the process by which the demonic nature will be subdued and the devotee nature will be awakened. And our Gurudev on this day said, it is a day of new beginnings. Today is the day of demonic destruction. Parshuram destroyed 21 generations of corruption. 21 generations. You can read about him in Srimad Bhagavatam in detail. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Pretty amazing. So he destroyed 21 generations of corrupt Kshatriyas. And he reinstituted dharma in this world. It is said that on this day was the beginning of Satya Yuga. On this day was the beginning of Treta Yuga. On this day was the beginning of so many auspicious happenings. So this is a day of new beginnings. And for us, we're all locked in our homes. We're not supposed to go out. We have to be inside. But even though we've been doing spiritual activities within our homes, still, it's an opportunity for us to become more strongly devout in our own personal lives.
Doesn't it say if you start anything on this
Yes.
day?
It is said that if anyone, Gurudev actually explained this, that if we start any devotional pursuit on this day, it is bound to be successful. It is bound to be successful. So we have an opportunity at this time, this titi, this time period, to begin any devotional pursuit which will be successful. Our Gurudev explained about one devotee taking diksha on this day. I can't remember who he was referring to, but to receive Harinam or diksha on this day and to move forward from this, then it is bound to be successful. Also, we have that same opportunity for ourselves. On this day, there are time periods which magnify our capacity and our ability. So this time period, Akshay Tritiya. Akshay means not of this world. So it is giving some divine inspiration. What should we do with our time? We should put more energy into serving Krishna, more energy into Harinam Prabhu, more energy into following the order of Sri Guru, and by that, as a natural, automatic side effect, the demonic natures and tendencies of this world and also what is present within ourselves will be subdued. So only through this amazing ashtra at this time, the ashtra of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Harinam Sankirtan, will this be effected? Will this take place? So taking shelter of Sri Harinam Prabhu, more, chanting more loudly, and when the opportunity comes to come together physically with Vaishnavas to do more Nam Sankirtan, and if we cannot do more Nam Sankirtan physically with others, to at least be like this together. And now there's that, what is it? Festival of the Holy Name, global Krishna Kirtan during this pandemic. And there are thousands of devotees all around the world chanting more than even ever before. So we can add to that. No matter where anyone is, like Gurudev spoke about one pebble being thrown into a pond, those waves will travel to every corner. The ripples, that's actually the name of the class, Ripples in a Pond. Those ripples will go to every part of the edge of that pond, just from one pebble. One pebble. And he said, but sound vibration does not stop. It continues more and more and more. It goes everywhere. That energy never ends. He said, and if it is the holy name, then it can go outside of the reaches of this material universe, past Vaikuntha, and eventually it will reach to the ears or the lotus feet of Krishna. How powerful is that? And so if one person is like one pebble in one location in the world, imagine if there are thousands and millions all chanting together, anywhere all around the world, with devotion, crying out, like Gurudev said, Radhe He, Krishna He, Radhe He, Krishna He, with mood of devotion, love and affection, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Whatever demonic influences are in this world, and I do believe there are demonic influences in this world, because we can plainly see it. What stops devotees from coming together? Jagannath Rath Yatra might not happen this year in Jagannath Puri. No one can go to the temples in Vrindavan. So there's something. What is the ultimate anti-pollution? Harinam Sankirtan, the holy names of the Lord. So all of us, we have at least that capacity that we can call out loudly. If we have the capacity to do it with others, then great. And if no one else is around, then even better. We can just close our eyes and be really loud and just not worry about what anyone else thinks of us, and just open our heart, calling out for the mercy of Sri Guru, and pray to Krishna, calling at the top of our voices. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Shri Akshay Tritiya ki jai. We should take this opportunity. Our Gurudev said we should make a pledge that we will do what we can to be united, to drive out these demonic influences and re-establish Bhagavad Bhakti in this world. How to do that? Only through Nam Sankirtan. The only way. Kalo nasti eva, nasti eva, nasti eva gatiranyata. There's no other way other than Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Prem Purushottam Shachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai. And I want to give you one little bit of transcendental trivia. In many places we hear that Ashtra of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Harinam Sankirtan. But there's also another secret Ashtra of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There it says Sangha Upanga Ashtra. In the association of his devotees, they are his Ashtra. The weapons. That means each person that has Hare Krishna Mahamantra and is going to share it is the weapon of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is Ashtra. And another Ashtra, his own beauty. Can you imagine? He is the combined form of Radha and Krishna. He is the form of their prem, their love and affection. Prem Purushottam Shachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai. May his Ashtra be all successful, all victorious. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So we have that opportunity and that duty. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he said, because Mahaprabhu said it will happen, it must happen. One way or another. And if we don't do it, then someone else will do it. But really it falls on all of us. Those who are coming in to the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are recipients of his mercy. we have the capacity to at least do that, to follow that instruction. Wherever you go, whomever you meet, tell them about Krishna. Nir aparada nam loilo pai premadhan, Vaishnava seva, and Jive doya. Serving the Vaishnavas, being merciful to the Jivas by sharing about Krishna to them, not distracting them by anything else, because anyone may die at any moment. Remind everyone of Krishna, remind ourselves of Krishna, and always take shelter of Shri Harinam. So now we will go to Going Beyond Vaikuntha. Are there any questions so far?
No, I'm at 50% on the internet though.
Are we coming off of your phone?
Yeah, so I've got 50% left.
Before beginning Going Beyond Vaikuntha, I would just like to remember Sri Raghunath Das Goswami's prayer to Sri Sanatan Goswamipada, who is the original writer of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Vairag Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnair Apayanam Mam Anubhipshamandam Tripam Budirya Paradukuduki Sanatanastam Prabhum Ashrayami. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Sanatan Goswamipada and Srila Gurudev, the commentator whose Bhav Anuvad we are reading from, that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages enter into our hearts. So now we're continuing with the journey of Gopkumar. So we've seen that Gopkumar had traveled to so many different locations within the cosmos by the influence of his mantra. And it appears that by the power of that mantra, whatever desire he had manifested. Because that mantra is actually not different from Krishna. So then we can understand that the same principle reacts. Nama Chintamani Krishna. That Krishna's name is Chintamani. Means whatever thought, whatever desire one has will manifest immediately by the power of the name of Krishna. So as he was chanting his Gopal mantra, which is manifesting the Ishtadev of his own heart, the deity, his particular relationship with the particular form of his worship, I received a very beautiful who sent it to me? One devotee sent me today a very beautiful thing from Srila Prabhupada. And I was wondering why he sent it to me. But now I understand, because where is it? It's directly related to this subject. So I feel it is imperative that I share it with you. There we are. And interestingly, this was a conversation between Hansadutta Prabhu and Srila Prabhupada. So Hansadutta Prabhu is the devotee who departed today from this world. This is a conversation he had with Srila Prabhupada. And this relates to this particular subject of the nature or the inherent nature of the jiva. And this is directly related to the subject of Gopkumar. So Hansadutta Prabhu says, Prabhupada, you said that when a person changes original spiritual form, just like the Vishnudutas, they have their four-handed form. Does that mean they will never rise up to the state of associating with Krishna in the two-handed form? What does it mean, original form? Prabhupada says, original form, two-handed. Hansadutta, two-handed? Prabhupada, yes. Hansadutta. So that four-handed form is not complete perfection of Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada, no. There is perfection everywhere in the spiritual world. But it is a question of variety, taste. Yesterday we were discussing rasa. So Prabhupada saying it's a question of variety or taste. When you take a rasagula, don't take a kachori. That doesn't mean that a kachori is not perfect. Right? A kachori is perfect on its own, and a rasagula is perfect on its own. It is a question of taste. So here, Prabhupada is explaining, somebody likes a kachori, someone likes a rasgulla. It's not that a kachori is inferior to a rasgulla, or that a rasgulla is inferior to a kachori. So that means if someone is situated in that swarup, Prabhupada, yes, everything is swarup. Everything is swarup. So then the question goes on, and Prabhupada is saying, why shall someone change their swarup? Prabhupada explains that the change is taking place in this material world. But in the transcendental realm, all tastes are fixed up. Rasa, eternal rasa. Every one of us has a different taste of associating with Krishna, and that will be realized when one is liberated. So that's fixed already, Hansadutta asked Prabhupada. Prabhupada, yes. When you are liberated, you will understand in which way you are related with Krishna. That is called Svarup Siddhi. But that is attained when you are actually perfect in devotional service. It goes on for a little while. So Prabhupada is saying, in a sense, there's no question of aspiring. This is important. There's no question of aspiring to become something that we are already not. Why? Because it is already situated within us. He's saying it's already situated in the best relationship with Krishna. The trees of Vrindavan are fully satisfied being trees. They don't need to be something else because they are satisfied being trees. They're satisfied serving Krishna silently in that way, supplying fruits and flowers. That is their ananda. Everyone there is enjoying supreme bliss. When Krishna comes, takes a flower or fruit, that is their enjoyment. Oh, that is their perfection. So he was just explaining that everything has its place. Everything already has its own inherent, intrinsic, eternal nature. It's already present within, and it just needs to be awakened from inside. And our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, confirmed this time and time again, that it is nothing to be had from an outside source. Only due to that association, what is inside is awakened. What is already inside is awakened. And our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, our Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, all of our Guru Varga, they have explained this in so many ways that it is already present in like a seed form. Srila Bhakti Vigyam Bharati Maharaj explained that seeds may be kept in a bag or a jar on the shelf. And they might remain in that state for a very long time. But if a gardener comes and removes those seeds from the shelf and plants them in the ground, and then gives it proper water and sunlight, then those seeds will sprout and they will actually manifest their nature. So it is not that you're giving it something that is not intrinsic within it. The water, the sun, the soil is only there to nourish its own nature. In the same way, Guru, Vaisnavas, Harinam, Shastra, everything which is favorable for bhakti nourishes our own intrinsic nature to awaken in love and affection for Krishna. And you can read that chapter in our Param Gurudev's biography, Acharya Kishori, the life teachings of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, in the chapter entitled Sri Gurudev and the Swarup of the Jiva. It's very clearly explained there. And recently, a very beautiful book was put out. It was a compilation of so many quotes from so many acharyas and put together by many devotees to support the conclusions of Srila Prabhupada, of our Srila Gurudev, of Srila Bhakti Vigyam Bharati Maharaj, of Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, of all of our Guru Varga. To support their conclusions, many quotes from all Shastras were put together in this book, and I think it's called Swarup of the Jiva. And it's very, very eye-opening, enlightening, and powerful. So, here, Gopkumar had moved from place to place to place, and it was because of the power of his mantra that he was moving forward. He didn't have an understanding of who he was quite yet, but he could feel what he was not comfortable with, and so he knew he needed to move onward. So he had become Brahma, and then he was told by his own guru, Jayanta, blessed him, that continue with your mantra, continue chanting, and you will be able to cross the 8 material coverings. You will be able to cross the Viraja river and go to Siddhalok. So we spoke about this Viraja river last time, the dividing line between the material and spiritual worlds. There, in the transcendental realm, is a whole, completely different realm of divine activity with Bhagavan or Krishna at its center. In the material world, each individual is their own center. That is why there is confusion everywhere. Because everyone's trying to be the center, this is the demonic tendency, then it creates havoc everywhere. When Bhagavan is removed from the center, Gurudev said, Srila Gurudev explained, when service to the Lord is removed from the center and materialism is made the be-all, end-all of everything, the natural result of that is destruction. So how to come out of that destruction and how to come into a place of universal peace and prosperity? By serving Krishna. By bringing everyone back to transcendental religious principles. How to keep Krishna in the center and do all of our activities in relation to Bhagavan. So Jayanta is telling Gopkumar, you cannot go in your material body. Material body is not suitable to move to those higher planetary systems, especially what is beyond the Viraja. This physical body cannot go there. So you will need to attain a suitable body for that plane of existence. The desires of your heart will surely be fulfilled, but in the course of your journey, you must not ever stop. Don't stop. Don't give up. Our Gurudev always said, don't be hopeless. This is an order, and he gave it a lot. So for those of you who are disciples of our Gurudev, or who even appreciate him, he has given this instruction time and again. We should try to follow that. Don't be hopeless. He also said, be strong and don't be weak. So these instructions, he would constantly remind us, don't be hopeless. Ultimately, you will reach your desired goal by going in sequence, step by step. That's how we move forward. So yesterday we were discussing Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dharya. What Srila Rupa Goswami explained in Sri Upadeshamrita, the nectar of instruction. What inspiration he has given us. How to be able to move forward. What is favorable for bhakti. The 6 things which are especially favorable for bhakti. Utsahan, enthusiasm, nishchaya, determination, firm conviction, unbreakable conviction. Dharyat, patience. If it doesn't come today, I should not give up hope. If it doesn't even come in 5 days or 1 year or 5 years, still I should not give up hope. I should continue moving toward Krishna. Tat tat karma pravartana. How? Doing those activities which are favorable. This is anukulyasya sankalpa. Accepting the activities which are favorable for my progression and on the path of bhakti. And then it says sangatyagat. It's the only negative in all of the 6 positives. Sangatyagat. What is positive for bhakti? Avoid unfavorable association. Avoid asat sangha. Avoid the association of those who will drag our mind, our intelligence, our endeavors away from Krishna. Who will take us away from Krishna toward material or mundane things or subjects. Avoid that. That is sangatyagat, or give up. It means to reject that. And then satovrite means follow the saints. Follow the sadhus. Follow those who are absorbed in sat, truth, transcendence, who are meditating upon Parabrahma Shri Krishna, Advait Gyan Paratattva, the supreme absolute truth, 24 hours a day. This is called sato vrite, following the path of the great devotees of the Lord, being under their guidance. Shadbhir, Bhaktir, Prasiddhyati. These 6 activities are very favorable for bhakti. Prasiddhyati literally means they will bring us to siddha. They will bring us to perfection. So here he's saying, don't stop, go, keep going, in sequence, step by step. Step by step really means Mahajano Yena Gata Sapanta. Follow the path chalked out by the Mahajans, the great personalities.
Also means don't jump.
It also means...
Like,
no, tell it.
no, do it.
It also means don't try to jump. Don't jump to the top of the tree. You need to climb bit by bit, branch by branch. If you just try to jump to the top, you may miss your branch. I did that once when I was in junior high school. I tried to jump and catch the 5th rung of that thing you climb across.
Monkey bar?
The monkey bars, and I just caught it with the tips of my fingers and swung up like that. I missed it and I fell. My whole body, probably 2 meters, 2.5 meters straight, flat, boom, right on the ground. And I just laid there for a little bit. Am I okay? So many persons may have experienced this, taking unnecessary risks, jumping from one branch to the other. Gurudev said you will fall and break your legs and crack your head. It's pretty direct sometimes.
I was thinking more like
So,
the inchworm.
He explained to us how we should do it step by step. And our Gurudev was very graphic when he would explain things. He said like an inchworm. You know, you've seen a caterpillar, how they walk? So Gurudev put his arm out like this. He put his fingers on. He said, 1 foot firmly planted down. Then you lift the other one. You plant that down. Then you move forward. 1 step at a time. Just taking it very carefully. But still continuing to move forward. Don't try to jump. You might you might not catch it. So we should follow it very carefully, step by step, in sequence. And there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which states that also.
I just want to say that Devaki is saying that she's still crawling, haven't got to step by step yet, but still hopeful.
That's really good. You know, it's okay if we're babies.
We are babies.
We're all babies. And Guru and Krishna are like our mothers. So they will help us to become qualified as long as we keep trying. Even if we're just crawling, still. One day we'll be able to walk, another time we'll be able to run, another time we'll be able to help make so many other people walk and run. So I'm trying to remember that verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, but it's not coming to me at the moment, where it is saying, Shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishyati. There, that's the one. Shraddha ratir bhaktir. So, as one is progressing from Shraddha to Nishta to Ruchi, Asakti, Rati, Bhav, then Prem. From that, Anukramishati, the word kram is there, it means in sequence. One should follow the process of bhakti. If you know the shlok, please, you can post it. So here, Srila Gurudev is saying there is a related story about a sage of Dandakaranya who was performing austerities. He was chanting the Gopal mantra for thousands of years.
That's patience.
That's patience. If you have read Secret Truths of the Bhagavatam and Pinnacle of Devotion and all of our books really, for some reason there's a specific number that keeps coming up in terms of how many years of austerity someone did before they attained perfection. And that number is 60,000 years. So we should be patient at least for that long. But continue. It's very, very, very small in the timeline of infinity. It's barely a blip. But we should never be hopeless. So he was chanting the Gopal mantra for thousands of years, yet he remained in this world. Eventually, Sri Ramachandra and Sita Devi arrived in Dandakaranya. Sri Sita Ram ki jai. Seeing the beauty of Ram, the sage's mind became attracted. He prayed to Ram, I beg that just as Sita is serving you, I may serve you in your form as Gopal. Please grant me this benediction. Mind you, this is an old sage who's been doing austerity for thousands of years in the forest. And then he sees Sri Ram and tells Ram, my desire is to serve you just as Sita is serving you. In other words, although externally he appeared like a very old sage, thousands of years, and he was living in the forest, so we can imagine what the forest-dwelling yogis would appear like. Still, the intrinsic nature of his heart, of his soul, was not that of an old, wrinkly, matted-haired yogi. The intrinsic nature of his soul was such that when he saw Sri Ram, immediately the intrinsic nature of his soul became awakened, that I want to serve you just as Sita Devi is serving you. In your form as Balagopal. Not Balagopal, as Gopal. Not Balagopal, Kishori Gopal. See, that's an example of rasabas. I just made that little mistake there, and that's called rasabas. You cannot serve as a gopi to Balagopal.
Only Mother Yashoda.
Mother Yashoda serves Balagopal. The gopis serve Kishore Gopal. So that slight difference, if any Vaishnava hears, they'd be like, what? What is this? Because baby Krishna is not engaging in the Rasa Lila with the gopis. It's Kishore Krishna. He can't even crawl, can't flip over on his own. He's still absorbed in making the Vatsalya Prem of olive Braj increase more and more. This is Balagopal. Then there's Gopal, then there's Kishore Gopal. So Gopal has many different aspects. So he wants to serve in his form as Gopal. Please grant me this benediction. Ram said, all right, so it shall be. But you cannot go to Golok directly. When the pastimes of Krishna appear in this universe, you will enter the womb of a gopi of Braj and develop your identity there. You will marry and have a husband, mother-in-law, father-in-law, and sister-in-law. But in a hidden way, your first love will always be for Gopal. By the influence of the gopis' association, you will attain perfection, and any doubts or ignorance that you may have will vanish. You will appear in the womb of a gopi. You will develop an identity within the Leela. Your sentiment will become perfected, and when Krishna and his associates appear from this world, you will accompany them to Goloka Vrindavan and become an eternal companion of Krishna. This is the path. What we just heard is amazing, and it is the path, not just for him, but for all of those who are coming into this Rupanuga line. And this is also explained not only by our Gurudev and our Parampara, and here Sri Ram, but also Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He explained it in his purports in Srimad Bhagavatam. The ones that he wrote before Brahma Vimohan Lila, which is where he ended writing the verse-by-verse commentaries in Srimad Bhagavatam. He specifically states there, in his own purport writing, that our last birth, or our final birth in this material world, if we are of the nature of being a servant of Krishna in Vrindavan, Aprakat Vrindavan, our last birth, our final birth will be from the womb of a gopi in any Vrindavan where Krishna is performing his pastimes within any material universe. So from that point we will be, in essence, naturalized through birth into Vrindavan's Leela. And from that point, from the very moment of conception, what to speak of our birth, we will only know of and love Krishna. It will be completely spontaneous and there will be no more anything else. So Gurudev is showing us here, quoting, paraphrasing, what Sri Ram is telling, what the whole process is. You will marry, have a husband, mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, but in a hidden way, your first love will only be for Gopal, this Kishore Gopal. This is also the process for those who are maidservants of Srimati Radhika. Same process. And Gurudev is saying, here, this is the path. So if you look very deeply into it, we will also have to go through that. And this is not really considered a material birth. Why? Because it's directly into the pastimes of Krishna. So it's spiritualized completely. It's not like I have to take a birth in the material world and engage in material activities. I'm taking birth directly into the pastimes of Krishna. My only and first love is Krishna, and I will only know of Krishna and his associates. This will be my identity. So this is also the path. And we can hope for this progression, which Srila Gurudev just beautifully mapped out. I'll try to find that quote from Prabhupada in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Also, his swarup didn't change, did it? The fact that he's seeing Lord Ram, and he's with God, not even the associate of God, he's with the Lord himself. And yet his prayer is that, may you bless me that my eternal nature to love Krishna be fulfilled.
Yes. I'm sure you all just heard that. It is beautiful. His intrinsic nature already was attracted to Kishore Gopal. And so he sees Ram, but really he's seeing his Ishtadev. And so he's praying to Ram that I would like to receive your benediction, your mercy, that this will manifest. And Ram gives him this blessing. Ram doesn't take him directly, but Ram gives him that mercy, that blessing by which his own intrinsic swarup will manifest, and the process by which that will manifest. In this case, I know I've already told it, but I have to tell it again. Many, many years ago, we were with our Srila Gurudev in Boise, Idaho, at the home of Janaki and Mukesh. So, Janaki, she's born in a Hindu family. She was associating with devotees in ISKCON for many years, and as such, she was naturally chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. She was worshipping Gurnitai, Radha Krishna, but still something in her heart wasn't moving right. The moment she met our Gurudev, he told her, oh, you are not a Krishna Bhakta, you are Ram Bhakta. This is quite eye-opening. He doesn't normally say that, but he just told her straight up like that. Later on, she took initiation from him, and he gave her the name Janaki, which is a name for Sita. So Janaki Dasi. And we were there in Idaho, at their home, when Srila Gurudev installed for her Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. And even when he was doing the installation, he told us to chant their names. Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patitapala Sita Ram. Sita Ram Jai Jai Lakshman Jai Hanuman. And then when he was telling Krishna Katha, he would stop in the middle and then he would start speaking Ram Katha to her, and she would be weeping as he was speaking Ram Katha to her. And then he would come back to Krishna Katha. So it so happened that myself and Sudevi and Janaki and her husband Mukesh were sitting in a small den in front of Srila Gurudev. And at that time, he warned us. First, he said to them, we should be very careful. He said, Krishna is so charming. It's like he was born to steal. He's a heart thief. He steals butter. If he sees anything sweet and soft, any sweet and soft heart, immediately he will want to steal it. So if you ever see any deity or picture of Krishna, you should never address him as Krishna. You should only say, "O Ram, you have appeared in such a beautiful form as Krishna. Jai Ram, Jai Ram." Keeping one pointed mood to their Ishtadev. And then he looked at us and he said, "And you?" He said, "Oh Ram, he is so strong, so beautiful, so soft-hearted, so heroic, so charming." And what was the other word he used?
He said, "So sweet."
And so sweet.
Immediately your heart will want to run to him.
Immediately your heart will want to run to him. So if you ever see any picture or deity of Sri Ram, you should never address him as Ram. You should say, "Oh Krishna, you have come in such a beautiful form as Ram. Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna." At that moment he was teaching us how to be one-pointed to our particular Ishtadev. Two sets of disciples. One guru who is in Madhurya Ras, in Krishna Lila, serving Radha and Krishna in their intimate pastimes. Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhya yayalibhir yuktirapekshaniya tattati dakshad ativallabhasya bande guru shri charanaramindam. And he's giving us instructions according to our own internal necessity. What our sadhya is, what our goal is, and what sadhana we should do to awaken perfection or attainment of that goal. And it was different for each person. For them it was for Sri Ram, for us it was for Radha Krishna.
But Chuta Krishna Prabhu is saying, I feel like this my whole life, this connection to Sri Ram. Like I was feeling to the Dwarkadish. Maybe you could just touch that a little bit. What Gurudev said about coming.
This is something that needs to be clarified only in the association of someone who is a real Tattvadarshi, Sri Guru. Because someone who is still a conditioned soul, who cannot see themselves and who cannot really know who is their Ishtadev by their own potency, who has not realized their relationship with Krishna, they cannot tell you what is your intrinsic, eternal, particular relationship. Our Gurudev had explained many, many times that the fact that you have been attracted to this line, that you have come to this path, that you have been attracted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the chanting of Mahamantra, that you have come into the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami, he said this is very significant. And he said it means that 99% of you, he would say 99 or 99.9, you have been attracted naturally to this line or this path because that is your intrinsic nature.
Could it be like from previous births, like when we went to South Indian temple also?
So he explained that that is because of your intrinsic nature, that you have that natural proclivity because you have been attracted to this path almost magnetically because your intrinsic nature is to serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan as a true Rupanuga. He said otherwise naturally you would have gone to any other sampradaya, but then he gave he said, but it may be that one or two, and he said like here, Ram Bhakta. So it may be that one or two may come from other rasas and they're also going to hear. Just like, for example, if Hanuman were to come and speak Ram Katha, we would run there and listen and hear these beautiful and sweet pastimes. Krishna also hears Ram Katha. So it's not that we don't appreciate those kathas. It's not that we don't appreciate hearing the glories of Krishna in all of his different manifestations. They are so beautiful, so powerful, and so charming. But really, in terms of our specific, direct relationship, this can only be directed or diagnosed by someone who is a real knower and experiencer of the truth. That is a tattva darshi. That is why it is essential to be under guidance of diksha and or shiksha gurus. Did you want to add?
If you're done with this particular thing.
Yes. Oh, no, I wanted to continue with this point.
Okay.
Sudevi, when she first came to our Gurudev, she had decided on her own after reading Srimad Bhagavatam, that Krishna only stayed in Vrindavan for a short time, and then he went to Dwarka and stayed for a long time. Many, many, many years. So she decided on her own that apparently that's where Krishna wants to be. He doesn't want to be in Vrindavan, he wants to be in Dwarka. So she decided, I want to be where Krishna is. And to be one of his queens. 16,109. Woo! So, she had made that up on her own, by reading on her own. She had not received initiation from anyone yet. She was in her room chanting, weeping, praying for it. We lived in a place known as New Dwarka, where everyone is worshipping Rukmini Dwarkadish. It's interesting, just the other day I read someone's memoirs of that time, and the original deities were Radha Krishna. And I remember when I was little, even the big sign out front said, "Welcome to the Radha Krishna temple." The business card, which we still have, says "Welcome." It says Radha Krishna temple. And initially, they were installed as Radha and Krishna. And what's the proof of that? Very simple. Krishna in Dwarka, according to Shastra, does not have a flute. And he does not wear a peacock feather. Technically, to place a flute in his hand and a peacock feather on his head would be considered rasabhas. Means it is a conflict of rasas.
But Prabhupada could never make rasabhas.
But Prabhupada did not install them as such. He installed them as Radha and Krishna. But once he remarked, this is very opulent, like Dwarka. So the devotees decided to call it New Dwarka. He didn't stop their enthusiasm. Then, because it was New Dwarka, they became Rukmini Dwarkadish. Many years later, they put a Garuda Stamba inside the temple. And many years later, after that, they put Vishnu Dutas on either side of the deities, of Vishnu Dutas. So now we've got Radha Krishna, Rukmini Dwarkadish with Garuda, and Vishnu Dutas, who are actually the servants of Narayan in Vaikuntha. But Srila Prabhupada explained that anyhow, at this stage, because we're not properly or fully developed, our prayers don't reach so far. They go to Lakshmi Narayan at this point. But Bhaktivedanta also says, Tahara Prarthana Shune Sri Nanda Kumar, if anyone follows this sixfold process of Sharanagati very sincerely, then the son of Nanda Maharaj Krishna in Vrindavan will hear your prayers. So there's so many different considerations. So I'm coming back to the point, Sudevi was practicing her own sadhana. There was New Dwarka, Rukmini Dwarkadish, what she read in Srimad Bhagavatam. Jagannath was everything, and Jagannath, Subhadra, and Baladev. It is said that Jagannath Puri is a non-different manifestation of Kurukshetra, which is also Krishna, in Dwarkadish Krishna. When Mahaprabhu would see Jagannath, he would stand in such a way that he could only see Jagannath, but he was seeing Jagannath from the perspective or the bhav of Srimati Radhika seeing her own Prananath, Rajendranandan, Shyamasundar, Krishna in Vrindavan. So it is said in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that when Mahaprabhu would see Jagannath, he would see him as Sakshat Rajendranandan. And that's how we have Sri Jagannath Ashtakam, that Jagannath is wearing yellow cloth, that he is playing on his flute. He has a peacock feather in his hair. Mujhe sevya venum shira shishikipi chamkatitate dukulam netrante sahachadakataksham vidatate sada Srimad Vrindavana vasati lila parichayo Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatume. Always residing in Sri Vrindavan Dham. All of the descriptions of Krishna, but given to Jagannath. Some say this was written by Adi Shankaracharya, but this is the bhav of the mood of Srimati Radhika. How Mahaprabhu is seeing Jagannath. So this is according to viewing one's Ishtadev. Anyhow, so Sudevi was following this process, which she developed on her own. She was doing bhajan, so she would be chanting and praying and crying, "Please, Jagannath, reveal yourself to me, please, please." And she was really going deeply into her own sadhana. I was not even allowed to go into that room. That was for her to cry and pray to Krishna. And then, making a long story short, Srila Gurudev through one of his disciples, manifested this aspect of Jagannath to her, which I just mentioned. And then Gurudev came into her life. And when he was giving her Gopal mantra, he stopped midstream. He said, oh, this mood, husband and wife with Krishna, for you it will never be. He said, your beloved is Brajendra Nandan Shyamasundar, Krishna in Vrindavan, and your Swamini is Srimati Radhika. So it's not that he changed her swarup in essence, but he is diagnosed. This is your intrinsic nature. Don't waste your time going this way and that way. You won't find satisfaction in any other rasa. Focus on this. And she was able to adjust. Just like in Gaur Lila, we see that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India, he was in Sri Rangam, and there he was with the family of Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Who is that? Trimal Bhatta, Vyankat Bhatta, and Prabodhananda Saraswati. And by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's association, although these were Pakka Sri Sampradaya followers, they were followers of Ramanujacharya and worshippers of Sri Ranganath in Sri Rangam. But by Mahaprabhu's association, he didn't change their swarups, but he awakened their swarup, what was inside, and they became devotees of Radha and Krishna. You can see by the writings of Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, who is considered non-different, a manifestation of Tunga Vidya Sakhi, one of the 8 principal Gopi friends of Srimati Radhika. He has written Sri Radha Rasa Shuddha Nidhi. If you read that, my God, Vrindavan Mahimamrita, so beautiful. His mood is so exclusive. And also, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Sri Radharaman manifested directly to him. So they accepted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's not that he changed their swarup, but they were able to accept and then follow the path of Braja Bhakti. Whereas Murari Gupta, having heard the same, and Anupam, the younger brother of Rup and Sanatan, father of Jiva Goswami, no? Yes. Both Murari Gupta and Anupam, they heard and accepted all of the teachings of Mahaprabhu. It made sense, theoretically. All of the Shastra lined up, it flowed, it made sense, but still they revealed to Mahaprabhu. Somehow or other, our hearts cannot give up. We cannot be one-pointed, like you've instructed. And Murari Gupta came to the point of, if I can't follow this order of Mahaprabhu, then what is the purpose of maintaining my existence? But I can't give up Ram. So he was literally torn between the two. His heart was pulling one way, and Mahaprabhu's instruction was pulling the other way. And he did the right thing. As a follower of Mahaprabhu, he revealed his heart to Jagat Guru Mahaprabhu. And what did Mahaprabhu tell him? It's because you are eternally Ram Bhakta, Sri Hanuman. That is why, of course, you cannot give up the lotus feet of Ram. And then he gave him, from that point, the appropriate sadhana, or the appropriate instructions for attainment of his goal.
So the last question, because we're done for the day. If it happens that it's too long, maybe we can continue on this point tomorrow. But Karen Copins, she's saying, could you explain a bit about Sadbhuj and how to address properly? Because he's Ram, he's Krishna, he's... So can you do that quickly? Or
Yes.
should we continue tomorrow?
I can do it quickly to the best of my ability. So, Sadbhuj is a very interesting manifestation of the Lord. And why am I saying interesting? Because we have only heard of him in relation to his manifestation to Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a very prominent Mayavadi philosopher. He was well versed in all Vedas, Shastras, Vedanta and everything, and he was the big respected Acharya in charge also of Jagannath Puri Dham at that time. When the pujaris and others wanted to beat Mahaprabhu, because they didn't understand who he was when he was running to embrace Jagannath, and then he fainted and fell unconscious. Sarvabhauma recognized that this is no ordinary symptoms that he is manifesting. He's manifesting all ashtasattvic bhavs. So he stopped them and he brought Mahaprabhu to his own abode. And there he nursed him back to health. And then after some time they were having some conversations. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya Mahaprabhu had many conversations, and then Sarvabhauma wanted to give Mahaprabhu some explanations, some deep explanations on Shastra. And he was giving all Mayavadi explanations. Mayavadi explanations basically have a very impersonal slant. So Mahaprabhu just sat there for 7 days and 7 nights, not responding whatsoever, because Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord, but the person who's approaching him is basically saying, you are non-existent, you are formless, you are not a person, impersonal, right? You are not a person. So he didn't respond. Until after 7 days and 7 nights, Sarvabhauma said to him, have you heard anything I'm saying? I've been speaking for a long time. Don't you have anything to say in response? The moment he treated him like a person, as one approaches me, I reciprocate accordingly. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to respond to him in a personal way. And then Mahaprabhu basically debunked everything that he said. He gave him so many more explanations in such a way that Sarvabhauma realized, I have received the grace of Goddess Saraswati. How can someone be so expert to completely run circles around all of my explanations unless they are themselves the master of Saraswati? So he began to accept the personal form of the Lord and realized that this is no ordinary person, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that I, myself, am that same. I am non-different from Krishna. I am non-different from Ram. So he manifested, we can see in the form of Shadbhuj. He has 2 arms, holding Kamandalu and Danda. 2 arms, like Krishna, holding the flute, and 2 arms, like Ram, one holding bow, the other one holding arrows. So he manifested this beautiful 6-armed form. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showing Sarvabhauma that I am this, I am non-different from Krishna and Ram, that I am that. And so, from one perspective, we can see, yes, it is true. There is no difference between Krishna, there's no difference between Ram and Narasingha and Vishnu and all other avatars. There is no difference, like there's no difference between one fire and another and another. But still, there is also the idea of the original, who Mahaprabhu has very clearly stated is Krishna, but also through Shastra we understand that Mahaprabhu is non-different from Krishna, also avatari. So if we're worshipping that form of Mahaprabhu, then we're worshipping that form with a little bit of Aishwarya Bhav. Aishwarya Bhav means we're seeing him as all of the different forms of Krishna. He's showing Krishna and Ram, but this is also implying that he is all forms. So Keshavadrita, Narahari Rupa, Keshavadrita, Rama Sharira, Keshavadrita, Matsa Rupa, Keshavadrita, Varaha Rupa. He's all of these forms and manifestations. But he's showing this particular form to Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya to convince him of the aspect or the personality of Godhead. That God is real, God is a person, and he's showing the personalities that I am here as a person, and also I am Krishna, and also I am Ram.
Raktambara Prabhu is just wondering very quickly, as you were speaking, especially about Dwarkadish doesn't have a flute, this, that. So he's saying, why does Sri Radharaman in his mandir never have his flute, even though he is in the pose of playing the flute? Your words reminded me of this question. Maybe we can ask Manas Goswami.
Why does Sri Radharaman never have his flute?
He never. Oh, his fingers are so delicate and they don't want to put anything there.
Because our Radharaman here has had a flute, so I've just been seeing him with a flute.
Sometimes you do see that there is a flute placed by him, I've seen many pictures where a flute is placed by him, but because he's Shalabram and his fingers, if you look, they are very, very light and delicate.
Does he have that space to put his flute in?
Yes, but he can't. They don't want to take any chances.
So we will directly ask some of the Goswamis who worship Radharaman this question. My initial gut instinct was that Srimati Radhika stole it for the time being. Because he is Radharaman. No, a lot of people call him Lal, like he's a baby. But actually he is the combined form of Govinda, Gopinath, Madan Mohan, and Srimati Radhika is inside. So his name is Radharaman, who is always giving pleasure to Srimati Radhika. So what does Krishna do when he's giving pleasure to Srimati Radhika? He places his flute at her lotus feet, his peacock feather, his mukut at her lotus feet, and he prays to her. Smaragaralakandanam mama shirashi mandanam dehi padapalavam udaram. Please be merciful to me. Give the dust of your lotus feet upon my head. So when you asked that question, the first thing that came to my heart was Srimati Radhika stole his flute. So we will ask Manas Goswami or any other Goswami, and we will provide you the answer as soon as possible. Thank you for that beautiful question, and the other questions as well.
Now we will chant some Mahamantra, and please wait for darshan of Radha Vinod Bihariji and Sri Gauranga. Subhadra just made a beautiful outfit for them today, so if you'll wait for their darshan. Radharamana Haribo. Radharamana Haribo.
Jai Jai Radha.
Jai Ho!
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bo. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bo.
Radha
पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय। श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जी की जय। गिरिराज महाराज की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। गोविंद नाम हरि लाल की जय। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे। So the babies, they have chandan on them because today here is Chandan Yatra. They're covered in sandalwood paste to cool their bodies down. Although today, for the first time in many years, we have heard on Akshaya Tritiya, it is much cooler than it has been ever. So, but still, it's still quite warm, so they're wearing their chandan. So tomorrow, we look forward to being with all of you again. Thank you for participating with us in Kirtan and this beautiful discussion. And also, please make sure to send those prayers out for those persons who have just departed and who are departing from this world. And always loudly chant the holy names of the Lord and try to engage everyone else in your vicinity and your friends, whether they're close physically or not, in chanting the holy names of the Lord. This is the real cure for all problems, all diseases. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you for giving us this seva.
Harinam Sankirtan.